Anyway, so I'm going to talk to you today about two topics, actually. The first one is the iGoogleThemeAPI, and the second one is the GadgetAPI. So I'm going to talk about the Themes API first, but before I start, I want to show you guys a video. It's really exciting. That was just a short video talking about the iGoogle artist campaign that we did. Basically, after we launched the Themes API earlier this year, we decided to approach several artists and try to get them to create themes. And many, many artists were interested. And so there's actually another video that I'm going to show you later that's going to describe it in a little bit more detail. But anyway, I just want to take a quick poll here. How many of you have ever heard of iGoogle before? Raise your hands. Wow, okay, so actually not that many. How many of you have ever heard of the Gadgets API? Besides this morning at the keynote talk. Okay, wow, so. Okay, I apologize, we're having some technical difficulties with my microphone here, so it looks like I'll have to use this one. Anyway, so it looks like a lot of you have never really used the Gadget API before. So this is going to be a really, really good talk for most of you because it's very basic. All right. I'm also going to introduce the Themes API, which, well, has anybody ever used the Themes API before? Wow. So I see basically nobody. So great. So let's go ahead and get started then. Here's the agenda for today. I'm going to split this talk into 3 parts. What are iGoogle themes? How do I create my theme? And a short introduction to the iGoogle artist campaign. Okay, this is just the first part. The second part, I'll talk about the Gadgets API. All right, so let's get started. This is iGoogle. Since most of you actually haven't heard of iGoogle before, this is what it is. Basically, it's your Google homepage with a lot of gadgets on it. All right, the gadgets are each one of these small boxes that you see on the screne. There are many gadgets available. You can put things like your weather, stock, news, almost anything you can think of on your homepage. So it kind of collects everything that you're interested about in the web and puts it together into one place so it's easy to find and easy to access. All right. This is a screenshot of iGoogle with themes. We just launched this earlier this year, actually, and it gives you control over how you want the page to look. You can see there's an image across the top. You can change some of the colors. And with the API, we give that control to you as the user. All right. One really exciting part of this is that you can create a theme as a user, but anybody else can create a theme as well and then share it with you. So what this has done is open up the options for themes to almost 800 themes now, I think. Right? Previously, when we launched themes, we didn't have the API, and there was something like 12 themes, 16 themes, which can get pretty boring over time. Now there's over 800. And so that's one of the great features. The other thing is that you can create your own if you want. So for example, a lot of people, they have kids. I don't actually have kids, so I don't know. But a lot of my friends who have kids, they want to see their kids all the time. I mean, all the time, right? They want to put it on their Windows desktop. They want to put pictures all over their desk. They want to put their kids on their iGoogle homepage, too. And now with the API, they can do that. Okay, so I don't actually have kids, but I do have a teddy bear that I really like. My parents gave it to me when I was maybe 5 years old or something. It's been with me all this time, and so I created a theme with my teddy bear and put it on there. Sorry to say that I don't actually have a screenshot of that for you, but That's what I look at every day. This is a theme that Jackie Chan created, actually. Just to give you a sense of the reach of iGoogle themes, this is one of our most popular themes here. It's the beach. It has over 2 million users. So this is really a great avenue for artists to showcase their work, right? So as you may know, if you're an artist, to get people to look at your work is actually rather difficult. And the iGoogle Themes API reaches millions and millions of users. My guess is that the beach is popular because a lot of people use the internet at work or something like that, and they dream of a vacation, and so they want to look at a beach all day long. That's really the only explanation I can think of. But anyway, the reach is tremendous. All right. As I said before, there's about 800 themes now to choose from. This is a screenshot of the directory. In iGoogle, there's a link that says add themes. It'll take you here. All right. Continuing on, how do I create my own thing? So this part of the talk is going to be a little bit more technical. I'm going to show you a little bit of code actually and how to create a theme. But the important takeaway to remember here is that it's really, really easy. So here's an example of a theme. The top section there, you can almost omit. You don't even need that. That's basically just metadata. Metadata is needed for the directories so that we can give it a title and show some information and put your name there so that you can become rich and famous. All right? But it's really not needed. Really, the content of the theme is in the darker section below. You can see it's simply a list of attributes with a key and a value. The key are things like header background color, header logo. You can just choose certain colors and change the theme that way. It's pretty simple. Once you've created that XML file, in order to upload it onto iGoogle and test it, all you do is you hit iGoogle, you add a skin equals parameter. I wish I could point to it over there, but basically the skin equals parameter, you point it to the URL where you've hosted your theme, and then you can see it on iGoogle. What this means is you have to have your XML file on the web somewhere. To host it on the web, there's several options you can choose from. You can create your own website and put it on there, but Google actually provides several options for you. There's the Google Pages where you can host files, Google Code where you can post files, and there's also the Google Gadget Editor which lets you edit the gadget in place and save it. I think they showed a demo in the keynote this morning. So the XML file that I showed you just a second ago was actually just color changes. But to make a theme really interesting, you probably want to add some images, right? So to add images is actually very easy. You just create an image of the right dimensions. It's on the developer guide, and add it into the XML file. Okay? You add it into the XML file using this syntax here. It's header.tileImage and header.centerImage. The reason why you need two images, tile and center, is because the browser changes width, right? So if it changes width and all you have is a center image, then when you make the screen too big, basically the sides are going to be white or black, and it doesn't really look that good, right? So, excuse me. What you do there instead is you create two images. One of them goes in the center, and the other one goes on the sides. And all you have to do is make sure that the sides of the image match up so that it looks like one continuous image. And then as you stretch your browser, then it just looks like the image goes on and it repeats on the sides. So here's another example. This is the bus stop. You can see the background image there repeats because it's about the same on both sides. And in the center, you have this transparent image with some characters and some people. And when you combine them together, that's what you get at the bottom. Okay? Once you've finished creating your themes, all you have to do is go to /IG/skin submit it, and it goes through our approval process. Unfortunately, themes that are submitted don't automatically go into the directory. They have to go through manual approval. We actually hand look at every single theme, but it only takes 1 or 2 weeks, and then if it's approved, then it should show up in the directory. The only reason why a theme wouldn't be approved is if it has copyright violations or legal violations, things like that. Okay? Once you've submitted your theme, if you want to update it, all you have to do is resubmit the theme under the same URL. Basically, it's stored in Google under a key, and the key is the URL. And if you change the entry with the same URL, it's basically an update. So if you just upload the theme with the same URL, that does it. Okay? The last thing I want to show you is the artist campaign. I described it a little bit earlier, but basically we approached several artists to create themes, and we now have over 70 artists who have created some themes. So I want to show you a video of the artist campaign that we did in New York to showcase our artists.
The iGoogle Artist Videos. We have more than 70 artists from 17 countries across 6 continents. Our personalized homepage is a project that is really near and dear to my heart because it puts the design of our homepage in the hands of our users.
But what's really exciting is that iGoogle allows the user to potentially become their own author. That's what the internet is about.
You can believe how many artists came out for the launch party.
Well, I've got my website that's connected to my email and then a whole bunch of other gadgets that I'm in the process of putting on there.
Astonished that they're all around you, 360 degrees.
Really thrilling to be involved with iGoogle.
It's really amazing.
I just wonder how you guys did it. These moving things are just like, whoa.
It's really amazing to be a part of iGoogle, and it's just really amazing. All right, well, for the second part of the talk here, I want to talk to you about Google Gadgets. All right. So the first thing I want to show you is to give you a sense of how many page views Google Gadgets have. All right. This data is actually a little bit old, which I apologize for. If you look at the bottom, this was actually up until January of 2007. So it's been over a year since then. So I can only imagine what the page view numbers must be like today. But back then, it was already 800 million gadgets per week. So this gives you a sense of how many users you can reach by running a gadget. So here's the outline for the gadget talk today. Basically, I'm going to give you a sense of what gadgets are, where you can find these gadgets, how you write the gadgets, and then how to distribute them. And at the end, I'll close with some advanced API features. So again, iGoogle. And here are some examples of gadgets. So they may be kind of small, so you can't see, but to give you a sense of the power of gadgets, there's all kinds of different things that you can put inside of a gadget, right? So the Pac-Man gadget is a game. You can have RSS feeds show up in a gadget. You can put maps inside of a gadget. Basically, anything that you can put inside of a web page, you can put inside of a gadget. So where can you use gadgets? Obviously, you can use them in iGoogle. I showed you this probably 6, 7 times now. But you can also use them in our partner pages. For example, every single Dell machine is shipped with this page set as the default. All right? This page shows gadgets. So not only can you see it on iGoogle, but you can also see it on our various partners. We also have deals with Gateway and other manufacturers to show gadgets here. You can also see it on Blogger. I demoed it in the keynote earlier today. Putting it on Blogger is especially easy, just a single click and it's there. You can see them on Google Desktop, third-party client software like IBM WebSphere, third-party websites. This is an interesting gadget. It shows you a webcam of the beach in Puerto Vallarta, and it basically gives you a sense of the conditions to decide whether or not you want to go out today or not. And in fact, you can put gadgets on any website. All you have to do is go to this URL, gmodules.com/ig/creator, and you can customize a gadget, and it'll give you the code that you can copy and paste into your website and put it on your own website. Just a few more examples here. You can also put gadgets inside of maps. This here, I think, is the distance measurement gadget. No, this one is a real estate gadget. You can also put gadgets inside of calendar. This one gives you the weather. And there's a very special gadget that Frank is going to demo today, the translate gadget. So Frank, could you come up here?
好，大家好，我叫谭永峰，我在上海的工程师。那么很高兴Jesse 今天会让我有点时间跟大家分享一下翻译小工具哈。这是用这个 GadgetAPI implement 的其中的一个gadget 一个小工具。那么同时呢，我觉得对中国的网民来讲也是非常重要的哈。那么奥运还剩57天，大家都在北京，我想问一下，你们准备好了没有？还没吃饭，你们准备好了没有？我要问一下，举一下手，你们有可以控制你们 HTML 或者是版主的，或者是 Website Administrator 的举一下手，我看一下。其他人都不行，你们可以改 HTML 可以发表博客吗？你可以的话举一下手。所以你们至少来这边还有一些用处。奥运还有57天呢，这外语人士非常多，100多个国家人马上就要来北京了，对不对？这个来华的商机是稍纵即逝。那么这个时候问题是怎样呢？我们很多时候如果说面对这么外来的资讯的时候，我们希望展现我们中国的国力跟资讯的时候，我们需要怎么样让他们了解我们的资讯，对不对？那么人工翻译的话呢是非常非常好。你如果说我鼓励大家呢，在剩下的时间呢，赶快找一些翻译社帮忙翻译你们网页有精确的内容。但是问题很大一个问题，人工翻译呢，你在通常负责你自己的网页的时候呢，你的金钱是有限的，你的时间是有限的，你的资讯是容易变的，对不对？那么人工翻译虽然网页这样的一个实行呢，这个质量是比较精确的，但是呢很费时也费财。所以呢，我们针对这个问题，我们从去年5月就开始策划，希望提升中国的这样一个用户。所以我去年5月的时候就跟Google 翻译的主要的负责人就想，我们有没有办法用中文对其他的语文能够提供这样的一个翻译的功能？那我们在今年5月的时候呢，正式 launch 中文对23种语言的互相的对译哈。那么现在谷歌的翻译小工具呢，可以让你的网站，如果你能控制 HTML 的话呢，通过即时的自动翻译成其他23种语言，你只要花你1分钟的时间。基本上很简单，你只要把下列这段 HTML 的代码，赶快抄，然后笔拿出来抄下，抄下。抄不下来没有关系，你记住是 translate.google.cn， 你到那个网站上去，工具栏它就有一个代码，你就 copy 下来，放到你的这个网站上。那么这个时候呢，下面就会出现这个翻译小工具的这样一个菜单，在你相对应的位置。那么如果说你按下去的话，你会发现上面会写这个选择语言。如果你用中文的 browser 看，它是选择语言；你如果是俄文的browser 去看的话，它就用俄文显示选择语言。因为外国人到你的网站上去看的时候，他看不懂中文嘛，你写选择语言他也看不懂，对不对？所以根据他的 browser， 根据他的 OS 上面会显示出来那个语言的选择语言。他看到你这个中文的网页我看不懂，按下去选择语言，它可以选择俄语显示选择语言，他就按下去。然后呢，右边呢就会显示出来，它选择语言是它其中语言用它的母语来显示那个语言是什么。如果按下去的时候呢，它就会跳出来。刚刚我们在那个 website demo 的，譬如说这边有一个中文的一个 website 叫做米卡品鉴，你按下去这个保加利亚文的时候呢，我们就自动机器翻译把它翻译成保加利亚文，看作它的内容。当然不会有人工翻译来的精确，但是在时间有限、金钱有限各方面的情况之下呢，你至少有个大概的内容可以让 user 看到。那么如果你们可以试试看，我们发现在5月份我们这次 launch 的，因为以前呢大概在去年的时候我们就有这个 gadget， 可是那个时候中文只能对英文还有这个繁体中文做个互转，所以对中国的使用者来讲其实功能有限。那今年5月份的时候我们多加了20种语言，所以现在呢基本上你可以对英文、繁体中文、阿拉伯语、保加利亚文、波兰语、朝鲜文、丹麦语、德文、俄语、法文、芬兰文、荷兰文、捷克文、克罗地亚文、罗马尼亚文、挪威、葡萄牙、日语、瑞典、西班牙、希腊、意大利文以及印度文都可以做即时的进行翻译。那么，所以呢，你这只要花你1分钟加进去了以后呢，你可以看一看。那么我现在这边没有办法直接做一个 demo， 但是你可以看，譬如说有2个中国的，我们现在大家知道，大概5月份在有数千个.cn 上面的 website 就已经开始在用了，好。那么很兴奋，希望给奥运能够对我们中国的这个经济能够提升，也让我们让外国人看到我们这边资讯。 那么有2部分，第一种呢，它可能它就是一个中文的网页，比如说这边有一个米卡品鉴，它就加了这个，你可以去试试看。还有呢，北京有个宾馆叫北京李氏宾馆哈，那么它也放了这个东西，那么人家外语去订的时候，他可以看更清楚了解它的语言。那么我们发现还有一些人在中国网民，他可能本身就做进出口工作的，譬如说有一个 ietrade.com.cn， 他是做进出口，所以他的资讯本来都是英文的。可是他还是加了，因为他翻译了英文以后，他希望说更吸引更多俄语或法语或德语不同的买家来看到，所以他也加在这上面啊。所以也有一些例子是他在中国，可是他本来就是英文网页，他把它加进去，那么让它可以翻译成其他的语言的。那么我今天时间不够，但简单还要介绍一下。那么刚刚提到这个 GadgetAPI 只是一行的code，花你1分钟的时间，任何人都可以做。那么另外一个呢，就是说，如果说你比较希望说更底层的控制，你不希望整个页面的翻译，你希望部分的地方翻译的话呢，如果你有 JavaScript 这个开发的能力的话呢，另外一个所谓的 Google GadgetAPI 哈，刚刚在那个主堂有在那个展示一下。那么这个基本上的 API 用 Ajax 方式呢，可以侦测你的文字的语种以及翻译语言的功能。那么基本上你会花比较多的时间，但是可以更精确的控制你的显示跟控制哪一部分需要被翻译哈。那么详细内容我今天没有时间讲过去，不过你们详细可以看下面这样一个文档会放在那边，基本上是2个 function call。第一个 function call 就是说我 detect 这个一段文字它到底是属于哪一种文字。那么第二段就是说我已经 detect 出来了，那么我送过去是送 HTML 还是送text 过去，要从哪一个语言翻译成哪一个语言哈，然后翻回来以后要叫到哪一个 function 去来执行塞回去原来你的显示页面的功能，所以大概就是这个样子啊。那希望大家现在有多少人有兴趣会把这个刚刚我讲的一行code加到你的页面的举下手，好不好？我看一下。好，谢谢你们。
So thank you very much, Frank. I have no idea what you just said, but I'm sure it was very interesting.
Just Google Translate, I know.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. My Chinese is not very good. All right. So continuing on, let's get down into the actual details here. How do I write a gadget, right? So this is probably the most interesting part for you guys. I'm sure this is what you're all here for, right? The important thing to remember, again, is that writing a gadget is very, very easy. In fact, this is the Hello World gadget right here. 6 lines, you're done, right? To get a sense of what a normal gadget looks like, though, let's take a look at this. This is probably too small for you to see, but at the top is, again, metadata, user preference data. You put this here if you want to put your gadget in the directory, right? It has stuff like your name, the name of the gadget, things like that. At the bottom, in a typical gadget, what you'll see are user preferences. User preferences give your user the ability to customize their gadgets, right? And as a secondary ability, it gives you the way to store data, right? So for example, this is a notepad gadget. The notepad gadget gives you the ability to type in something, store it on the web, and then come back and look at it later. Okay. If you wanted to build something like this inside of a typical web page, you have to worry about a lot of things. You have to worry about databases, you have to worry about authentication, you have to worry about caching. It's really quite an undertaking. And here, what you've done is created exactly what you wanted in about 30 lines. Okay? I'm not going to go through the details here, but the point is it's really simple. You don't have to worry about any of these things. All right? So the next thing is hosting. I mentioned this before with themes already, but here's a screenshot of the Google Gadget Editor. Actually, they demoed it at the keynote. You simply type your gadget in here, and then there's a save button here under File. When you click Save, it'll give you a URL that you can access to view your gadget. In fact, it's even easier to create a gadget than you might think with Gadget Maker. Right? So with all of these tools, it makes it really easy to type in and develop your own gadget. But if you don't know how to code, you can create a gadget as well. Gadget Maker is a tool that that gives you a number of templates to creating gadgets, and you simply specify the content. They give you simple HTML forms that you fill out, and you click Save, and then you have a gadget. So I can't read Chinese, but I think the left one is like a photo gadget, and the right one is like a, well, daily me gadget. It's actually funny. After we launched Gadget Maker, I showed this to my grandmother, who basically doesn't know how to use computers at all. And she created a gadget with a whole bunch of my baby pictures in it, and published it, put it in the directory and everything. And I was really embarrassed. I went in there and took it off right away. But okay, once you finish writing a gadget, how do I distribute it? You can reach millions of users, but how do you actually get it there, right? The first thing you want to do is put it in the iGoogle directory, right? So here's a screenshot of the gadgets directory. You can also distribute your gadget using these Add to Google buttons. You can find these Add to Google buttons all over the web. If you see a gadget on the web somewhere that has this button, the user will click the button and then it will go to your iGoogle page. The third is the send to a friend distribution method. Once you have the gadget on your iGoogle page, if you click on the drop-down, you can share this gadget with your friends using this share friend box here. All right, so let's get into a little bit more technical details here. There are a lot of things that you can do with gadgets that most people aren't aware of. The first one is analytics. It's always useful to track how users are using your gadget. This is one of our most popular gadgets, the Wikipedia gadget. It gets 32 million page views a week. 32 million, that's huge. And this is actually not our most popular gadget. But what you can do is you can hook various UI elements of this gadget into Google Analytics. For example, if your gadget has a lot of tabs in it, you can put a JavaScript hook into the tab changing UI and track the tab usage inside your gadget using Google Analytics. You can also embed Flash inside of your gadgets. The traditional way to embed Flash inside of a web page is shown above here. It's hugely complicated. It's a mess. It's very error prone and just hard to do. But what we've done is create an API that lets you embed Flash very easily. Basically, one call here. Probably the most useful feature inside gadgets is using remote content. So, for example, there's a date time gadget which just displays the date and the time. It's really doesn't need any remote content. But if you have a gadget that displays anything like news or data that changes periodically, you want to use remote content. There's three ways to fetch the remote content. You can fetch it either as JSON, which gives you a JavaScript object that you can access. So you can say like, feed.title or something. You can fetch the content as XML, which gives you XML traversing tools like next node, child node, parent node, and so forth. And then there's just plain old fetch content, which doesn't do any processing at all and just gives you the content raw. The fourth trick is internationalization. Gadgets internationalize really easy as well. To do so, all you do is include these message bundles inside of your gadget with language key value pairs. You hook these message bundles into your gadget using the locale lang syntax right there, and all of a sudden, your gadget is translated into however many languages you specified. So this reaches many, many more users. And the fifth trick I want to mention is caching. Okay? So with a gadget, the XML file is still hosted on your server, depending on where you choose to host it. If you have your own web page, then it's hosted on your own server. And if iGoogle users are hitting your gadget, millions of times a day, chances are your server is going to melt down. And so to help alleviate that, there are certain caching mechanisms. All right? So we automatically cache the XML file, so you don't have to worry about that. But what if your gadget accesses images and other files on your website? It's a little bit harder to deal with. So what you can do inside of the gadget is use these _IG get image URLs, get cached URL, and basically any resource that you have on your server can be cached onto Google, and your server won't melt down. So here's an example. The last thing, which I won't go into too much detail, is the pub sub feature. Right? If you have multiple gadgets on your iGoogle page, they can actually talk to each other. So if you, let's say, as a canonical example, you have a finite stock quote gadget, you type in the name of a stock and it gives you the price of today. What if you also have a chart gadget to the right of it that gives you the historical price of the gadget? With PubSub, these two gadgets can talk to each other, and then when you type in the stock in one gadget, it can change all the other gadgets on the page as well. It does so using various channels and mechanisms, which I won't go into here. But basically, that's it for the technical session here. This is the example that I was talking about with the finance gadget. So that's pretty much the end of the talk here. The important things to remember that I want you to take home with you is that writing gadgets are extremely powerful. You can put anything inside of a gadget, HTML, Flash, JavaScript, whatever you name it. It reaches millions of users, and they're very, very easy to write. In fact, you can write your first gadget probably in 30 seconds, hosting, everything taken care of. So thank you very much. Are there any questions?
下面有请周鑫，Google 工程师，来自北京的 Google 工程师周鑫一起来参加 Q&A 的这个环节。周鑫是2006年加入谷歌的，他现在跟 Jesse 是同一个 team。还有就是我们为提问者准备了礼物，但是只有3份，所以先到先得，大家踊跃提问。然后还有一个问题，就是大家手上看到一张表发给你们的，请帮忙填一下啊，然后填完以后交给场边的工作人员，谢谢大家。
Yep, in front here. Just right in front here. So I guess.
一个 universal widget application， 他们有一个那个 universal widget API， 然后那个好像是一个更加包容性、更加开放的一个平台。你们这个 Google 的这个 Gadget 和那个会是一个什么关系呢？会是竞争的关系，还是合作的关系，还是一个什么关系
？So what's the relationship between the widgets?
So the question is, what is the difference between iGoogle Gadgets and NetVibe widgets?
Yes.
So iGoogle and NetVibes are competing products. They're both personalized homepages, right? And the gadgets on the page are also competing as well. The difference is with iGoogle Gadgets, the API is open. You can put Google Gadgets anywhere you want, not just iGoogle. You can put Google Gadgets on NetVibes if you want, actually.
You mean they are the same?
It's the same idea, and I think they're competing ideas, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, in front here.
等一下，完了话筒会过来。对，话筒我的后面听不到。啊，那你打。我想请问一下，你那个 Gadget 的那个 cache 怎么做的？讲一下。How do you implement cache of Gadget?
So there are many caching mechanisms inside Google. Unfortunately, I can't go into too much detail about the specific implementation, but basically we keep a copy of whatever we cache on Google servers. Does that answer your question?
就主要就是说，我们在我们的服务器端的话，我们会把有一些内容可以保留在我们的服务器里面。
Right. So what this
具体的一些 detail 的话，信息的话，然后。
讲一下 idea 吗？但具体的细节的话，我就不要求讲出来了，就是一些设计上的思想啊什么之类的，可以讲一下吗？
He wants to know the detailed design of the gadget cache.
Oh, so I'm really sorry. We can't talk too much about the details of implementation here.
Okay, I can understand. Okay.
In the back there.
就是我有个问题，就是假如说我这个网站是限制访问的，就是在一定的 IP 范围内访问的，然后可以用这个 Google 的那个 Translate 的那 Gadget， 可以用那个翻译吗？
这我觉得可以让谭永峰来回答这个问题。
如果你的网站本身只对限制的 gadget， 应该是不行。对，因为譬如说你内网当中的文件当然是不可以，就是完全公开的才可以。因为基本上这个 translate gadget 的做法还是基本上是从 Google 的服务器去抓嘛。那除非你把你那个网站开放给 Google 的你的 IP 范围 Google 的服务器是在它那个范围之内的话才可以。如果你只是针对特定的单位的私有的开发的话，是没有办法抓到这些内容。
也就是说，用户在访问我们网站的时候，就是 Google 先要抓取网页的内容，然后翻译，然后再返给用户，是吧？
对，但是有一个办法，就是说 Gadget 的 API 没有办法，因为 Gadget 的 API 基本上是你放在那个 Gadget 那个就是 Google Translate Gadget 是没有办法，因为 Translate Gadget 基本上是说 OK， 我要翻这个网页，我去把那个 URL 的内容让 Google 抓过来了以后秀给我们。但是刚刚我后面有讲到一个简单的叫 Ajax Language API。那个的话可以，为什么？因为那个东西事实上是在你自己的网页上 JavaScript 的 code， 那么显示给用户看到的时候，你说，我这一段这是5段文字送给 Google， 然后再抓回来，所以这个时候你可以用那个去实现。用 Ajax Language API， 对。
谢谢您。
还有什么问题吗？
就是我如果自己做了
话筒。
就是如果我自己做了一个 gadget， 然后想给别人用的话，别人需要有 Google 的账户吗？
这个是不需要的。
哦。
这个就是说，如果你们自己开发的这些 gadgets 的话 ，sorry， 如果你们自己开发了 gadgets 的话，你们只要把这个 gadgets 保存在刚才 Jesse 他谈到的3种途径，一种是 Google Editor 里面可以 save 下来，然后还可以放在你们的 Google Page 里面，甚至可以放在你们自己的网站里面，你们导出一个gadgets 的一个 XML， 那么这样的话，你就可以 share 给你朋友，让朋友可以添加进来。OK。
哎，你好，我想请问一下，就是这个 Google 的这个 Gadget 是不是有一些 base 的 component， 然后给 customer 去做 extension？ 因为我们看到很多现在在市面上见到的这个 UI 的东西，像 Adobe 提供的这个 Flex， 它本身有一些 base 的 UI component， 那我们可以拿去做 extension。那我不知道这个 Google 的 Gadget 是不是有一些 base 的 component 拿给这个我们去做 extension， 然后我们可以 create 更丰富的一些这个 rich 的 Internet 这个 component 来去用。
Yeah, so the question is regarding extensibility of gadgets and UI components.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, actually, I forgot to mention this inside of my talk, but there's a very rich library available to you. Okay. So a lot of things like tabs, drag and drop, these are all available inside of the library. So if these are all UI elements that will be very easily added if you choose.
Well, the other question is that possible for us to access those library, or which I mean, we can download those library from the Google website and make the development. I just saw you provide some editors for us, and
right.
we can input something, but I don't see some extensions, the implementation for that.
Right. So all of these libraries are actually just JavaScript files, which you include into the gadget. So you could download it if you wanted to, but the problem is they're optimized, so they're the JavaScript is compiled. You may not be able to read it yourself, but there's no reason why you couldn't download it and try to use it.
So after I download the library and do development, I can upload the gadget. I mean my gadget to the Google website. Then I can access it from the URL.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I mean, after development is done, I can upload my gadget to the Google website and access that gadget from the URL. I mean, all the gadgets have to be uploaded to the Google website, right?
No, it doesn't have to be. You can put the gadget on any website you want.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
我可以补充一下，刚才说的话，你其实甚至可以用我们 Google 其他的一些Web Toolkit， 就是像 GWT， 然后都可以来开发我们的那个 Google Gadgets， 因为它只是一些 JavaScript file 和一些 HTML 的 file， 然后你里面可以用任何的 JavaScript 库。
谢谢。
这些后面那位白衣服先生，好不好？对。
You have a great speech, and first I have a question. There are different type of gadgets. One is just use iframe, but they cannot cooperate with each other. Another can cooperate, but maybe encounter some security problems. So I want to ask that Google how to handle the cross-gadget cooperation problems.
So the question is, how do gadgets communicate with each other?
Yes, right.
Right, so my very last tech trick, the 6th one, with the pub sub mechanism, gadgets can talk to each other, but unfortunately at the current time they can only talk to each other on iGoogle. If you put your gadgets on your own website, then I don't think pub sub will work, but on iGoogle, different gadgets can talk to each other.
Really? Some use iframe can communicate with each other?
Yes, they can.
Okay. Great.
It's all inside of the developer documentation. If you go to this URL here, google.com APIs gadget, if you look for pub sub, which stands for publish subscribe, you can find out how to do it.
Okay, great. And second one, I want to ask that if you use iGoogle to search some information, it will replace the iGoogle page. Can they just open a new page to show the information search results?
I think that's very good feedback, and I'll take it as feedback.
And third one, I think there are laboratory for Gmail now is launched, but the laboratory still don't have the to switch the theme. So can I Google to help them to add this feature to switch the theme?
Is the question whether or not you can switch themes inside of Gmail?
Yes, sir. Can I Google him to push them to add this feature?
So Gmail Labs is a separate product from iGoogle, right? So are you asking if you switch themes in iGoogle, whether or not the theme will also change in Gmail? Is that the question?
My question is, I think iGoogle is doing good things to switch the theme. However, the Gmail cannot switch the theme. So I think can iGoogle team to share some experience to them.
Oh, I see. So unfortunately, I can't really comment too much on Gmail. I don't really know what they're doing over there. But I can certainly talk to them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
好，我们最后一个问题，因为时间关系。
还有10分。哦，对。哦，是了，护士。
In the back there.
你好，我比较喜欢那个 Gtalk， 然后一直就没发现，在 iGoogle 那上面有 Gtalk 的 gadget， 所以我想问一下，到底提供不提供这样的服务呢？
The question is whether or not there's a Gtalk gadget for iGoogle?
Yes.
Yes.
Where can I find it?
你要找一找，有在那里。好，我们最后一个问题，已经时间的关系哈，所以等一下，如果你们有问题的话，我们会在外面容易问，我们还可以私下来问我们，好不好？谢谢各位。
Also, my email address is here, jesse@google. So feel free to let me know if you have any feedback. I especially want to know if there's anything that you think we can improve in the API. Any pain points or problems that you see? Okay. Thank you very much.
谢谢。